What's up, guys? Jude here from No Huddle Analytics. As promised, we have another video for you today. We're going to look at three teams that we think are going to overperform their over-under this year by 2.5 games. So, for example, if it's 7.5, we think they're going to win 10 games. So I have the good old Excel spreadsheet up with all the data we need. Let's get to it. All right, so we have our Excel sheet with all of the data. We have everyone's record last year. We have the point differential, which is a big one, big indicator for the next year. We have the over-unders for next year. We have the turnover differential, and we have Pythagorean wins, which is just like a calculation of the amount of wins and I believe point differential. It's probably an more accurate measure of what a team, quote unquote, should have won. So, it's very helpful and it's a good indicator of what's going to happen next year. So I have some teams highlighted, but we'll run through the point differential first. So, first team that sticks out is Dallas. They had 12 wins. Their point differential is 125. It's only 2 less than Kansas City, even though Kansas City won 14 games. So that sticks out. Their over-under is only 9.5, whereas all these teams have 11.5, 10.5. Their Pythagorean wins was 11.2, so they were pretty much on point with what what their actual record was. Their turnover differential was high. Their defense is really good, but it was 10, so it's the second best in the league. But their defense is good, so it could come down, but I still expect it to be positive. So that's definitely one team to look for. We'll sort by point differential. Jacksonville is in a tricky spot. They had a big point differential at 54, and they were only 9-8. But Pythagorean says they should have won about 10, but their over-under is 10.5, so I'm not going to touch that one. We'll look at the Giants next. They were 9-7-1, even though they had a losing record. Point differential of 6. Looks like Vegas knows this. They set it at 8.5. Pythagorean's about the same. And Pythagorean, I couldn't get the file, so this is why I mainly did the teams that I think, that I'm going to end up picking. Turnover differential is 3, so we're not going to go to them. Vikings is a pretty drastic example. 13 wins, even though they had a losing point differential. Their expected wins was 8.3, but shocker, Vegas knows, and they have them at 8.5, and their turnovers were close to even. So not going to touch them. Washington, they're literally 500. Minus 22, but again, nothing really sticks out here. Pittsburgh they had a winning record even though they had a losing point differential. Their over-under is 8.5, and their Pythagorean was 7. But they had a lot of rookies last year. Okay, their quarterback was a rookie, so I'm not going to touch that one. So, as you can guess, there's 2 teams left. Miami is the first one. So they were 9-8. They obviously had a Tua injury. The point differential was -2. Their over-under was 9.5, and their wins was about 8.8. Big thing that sticks out is their turnover differential is -7. If we go sort by turnover differential, they were the only team here that had a winning record, even though they had -7. Guess who they picked up this year? Jalen Ramsey. So I'm going to guess they're going to get some more interceptions. Maybe if their backup quarterback plays less, they'll have less interceptions on their end. So I expect them to be one of the teams that does this. So I think they're going to be 9.5. I think they're going to go 12-5 this year. So I would definitely take their over. That's one. Right next to them, Las Vegas. Probably not as confident in Vegas, but worth a shot. They were 6-11. Even though they had only a -23 point differential. So if we do this, you can see all the other teams around here had more wins. Carolina had more wins. They lost a lot of close games. It's 7.5. Their Pythagorean wins was 8.3. And they also had -8 turnover differential. So if they can get that even to like -2, I would expect them to flip that around and they can easily go 10-7. So they're at 7.5 and 10. So there's two teams, Raiders, Dolphins in the AFC. NFC doesn't really stick out as much, so I'm going to go with the Dallas Cowboys. And the main reason is that they're just a solid team. They're really good. They crushed teams last year, 125. Prescott didn't play the whole year. I mean, he is injury prone. They got Brandon Cooks. They re-signed all their good free agents. Their over-under is only 9.5, and all these teams are 10.5, 11.5. So I expect them to go 12-5 this year. I think their turnover will, I don't know if it'll quite be 10, but it'll still be up there between 5 and 10. And as you can see, Philly kind of overachieved. So I would expect Philly and Dallas to be around 12-5, 13-4 for the NFC East. So to recap, I would, for the over-unders this upcoming year, I would take Miami over, I would take Las Vegas Raiders over, and Dallas Cowboys over.